paper that I used to teach you guys for Flexible Learning Day all the different paragraphs. The first paragraph is your lead paragraph. The intent of that paragraph is to grab your person, pull them in, and make them want to listen to you, okay? We started with a good hook. A lot of you guys used quotations, questions, or like really interesting facts to make sure that people were interested. The second paragraph we talked about as kind of being a run-through of their life. You're picking like the 5 most important dates, not all 15 dates that you did on your timeline, but a couple of really good ones, okay? So I had put, because I was a slave, my birthday was not written down. I was born around 1820 near Bucktown, Maryland. I was not allowed to go to school as it was against the law for slaves to learn to read and write. I married a free black man named John Tubman in 1844. Notice I mentioned free black man, right? That's important to my story, isn't it? The fact that she married a black person who was free was very influential for her, so I added that in there. I escaped slavery by using the Underground Railroad, and I helped over 300 other slaves reach freedom on my 19 trips to the South. Now notice, I didn't even add when she died, right? But I did add what I felt was the most important, like, blurbs of her life that you need to know as a listener. Now this third paragraph is one of the hardest paragraphs, okay? Because what I'm asking you to do is I ask you to grab a personal story from their childhood or their adulthood and tell me about it and why it shapes them into the person that they are today, okay? So my personal story was a sad memory from my childhood. As you guys are looking and trying to find a good story about your person, I want you to think, okay, why am I inspired by this person? And is there anything in their life that helps them be that way? So for example, I was reading with Bennett and he said that his brother died in a motorcycle accident, right? I mean, maybe that's something that would be really challenging or hard. What did he do to overcome that, right? And I bet, Bennett, you're thinking, oh, these are the things he did to overcome it, right? Everyone has things that shapes them and change their life. And I want you to highlight one thing that shaped and changed your famous person's life into something that was inspirational to you because you chose them, you were inspired by them, right? So mine is like this. I think one of the coolest things about Harriet Tubman is her bravery. Not only did she escape slavery, she went back 19 times. Now, I don't know about any of you guys. Would any of you want to go back if you were saved out of a horrible situation? You saw people that were hurt, you saw people that were unsafe, maybe you didn't get food, maybe you were separated from your family. Would you want to go back there? No, she did. That's why she inspires me. She inspires me because she's brave, and if she can go back to slavery to save people, well, I can go back to my classroom and teach children. You see how I apply that to my life? That's hard. That is like level 4 thinking right there. So this is my memory. I say, I have many sad memories from my childhood, but one day I saw Jim, a slave, trying to escape. And I followed the overseer and Jim into town. Jim ran out of the door, and I blocked the doorway so that the overseer couldn't catch him. The overseer threw a 2-pound iron weight at my head. This almost killed me. This memory shows how brave I was, even at a young age. This might have been the first time I risked my life to help others get to freedom, but it was not the last. Okay? That is a really important paragraph. How many of you guys got little goosebumps on your legs? I did. When I read that story, I got little goosebumps and I thought, whoa, that's inspirational. Okay? So that's your first 3 paragraphs. Most of you are done with your first 3 paragraphs. The last paragraph is this. I want you to think back to over Christmas break when I was telling you, hey, choose somebody. And I want you to think, why? Why did you choose this person and how did they change the world? Now, might be a small change of the world. It might be one little tiny thing that they changed. But this last paragraph is the intent is to wrap it all up and punch it home. Okay? So, if I'm going to wrap up Harriet Tubman and punch her home, I want you guys, as you're walking away from my Wax Museum character, I want you guys to think, oh, wow, She was super brave. She fought something that was wrong, slavery, and she helped people get to freedom, okay? So I'm thinking, all right, I wanna say why I chose this person, and this is gonna be my concluding paragraph, okay? Which the concluding paragraph is the last thing that you're talking about. So I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna push return, because that gets me to the new line. How many spaces do I indent? 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay? Now, this last paragraph, I'm still talking in first person, as if I'm the person, right? I risked my life to save my friends and family. Now, I'm going to pull in something that's important to me. Right now, do we still have racial issues in our country?
Yeah.
We do, don't we? We still have a lot of racial unrest, and that's important. That's why I chose Harriet Tubman to highlight versus all of the other wonderful people. Today, many people still struggle with treating one another fairly and justly. My bravery and commitment to equal rights. Oh, I'm going to say something like this. In the Constitution, do you guys know what the Constitution is? We've heard of it. The Constitution is what our founding fathers wrote. They had a very famous Constitution line in there. In the Constitution, our founding fathers wrote that every person has the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. I fought for this right and bravely lived a life that inspires others to do the same.